Welcome to New Level Living. My guest today is Margie Di Paolo. Now, you may recognize Margie because Margie has our sister podcast, Choices with Margie. She's alternating weeks with us, so if you're watching ours, watch hers, and vice versa. Come on over to New Level Living. Margie, thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, so here we keep it, try and keep it real estate, try and keep it business, and a little birdie told me you were like number one rookie in your first year of real estate. Is that birdie correct?
That birdie is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly went into real estate, it was 2013, and I just went in full force. I really loved what I was doing. I got associated with a couple of the agents in the Pittsford office where I just was like, let me do your open houses. Let me kind of pick your brain. Let me, go to events with you, because I wanted to see how these people who had been in the business for a long time, the successful ones, because there's a lot of agents out there, but there's probably the top 15% that really do like 80% of the business, really.
Yeah, right. And some people see it more as, something they'll do here and there,
Right.
kind of like a hobby.
Right. No, I didn't want that. I was in the Pittsford office every day. I went in every single day, and I would, if they asked how it outside of the Howard Hanna offices, they would say agent on duty. I would sign up all the time, because I got several listings where people just would walk in and say, I need to talk to an agent.
Yeah.
So I honestly was working 24/7.
Yeah.
And then my office manager nominated me for Rookie of the Year, because I did like, I think, $3 million in my first year.
Yeah.
And I worked really, really hard at it. But my difficulty is I couldn't shut off.
Okay.
I couldn't figure out how I could shut my brain off. I would constantly be working. I wasn't that type of person that could say, okay, it's 7:00 at night, I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to look at my emails. I'm not going to look at new listings. I'm not going to look at, market trends. I had a real difficult time shutting it off.
And it's something that is hard, because I know, when I was a kid, I didn't understand it. We're watching a movie, and my dad whips his laptop out, and is on his laptop the rest of the movie. It's like, what's he doing? It's a business that is
all consuming
and time based and time bound. So it's not always glamorous. There's times where you're it's 9:30, you're in your PJs and you have to jump into action, and that's not maybe not the most fun all the time, but it's that idea that we owe it to the client. But you are a person too, so it's like,
and a lot of it is relation based, and I got many referrals because people, again, if somebody says, oh, I want to look for a new house, or I want to buy a house, or I want to sell my house, they're going to say, oh my God, call my agent Margie, she did a great job.
Right.
So yeah, I did get a lot of referrals. And when you say not glamour based too, it's not always $500,000, $600,000 homes. Sometimes you're in the city and you're down in a basement where you're like, I know there are spirits down here. It is spooky.
You're referring to my house, and no.
Or you go in and you're like, okay, I need to spray this house a little bit,
Yep.
But again, when you're listing a house too, one of my successes was I really know how to stage a house.
Yeah.
I would go in and I'd say, you need to do, and I would give them a whole written list of what they needed to do, and I would go in and help them sometimes.
Yeah.
Get the knives off the counter, get a new door, just simple things, a new shower curtain, a new bedspread. Nobody wants to see a 20-year-old bedspread. Those little simple things. Clean the carpet.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Are you an extrovert?
I don't know what I am.
You don't know what you are?
No,
Maybe
really
you
don't.
fall somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So I am you might think I'm an extrovert if you meet me depending on the right setting, but I'm
Yeah, because
totally an
I've seen some
introvert.
videos of you singing in your dad's car. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, I can be wild. I'm a little performer, but I am at my core an introvert. I need to recharge, um, without people, without socialization. I don't get recharged by talking to people.
Mhm.
I can do it, but it doesn't recharge me. I think for you, you're so good at talking to people. But you have a trait that even if you are an extrovert, some extroverts don't always have, and you get stuff done and you follow through on your action. Some people, it's so easy for them to talk that they forgot about what they said and they don't
Mhm.
follow up. I think maybe that's one of your strong suits.
Well, the funny thing that you say get things done. I was a store manager for Kaufman's.
Hmm.
I had 250 employees. Back in the day when Kaufman's had people on the floor. The maid company used to come out and they would do these evaluations of you as your management style. The first question was get things done. I always got a 5
Yeah.
out of the 5, 1 to 5.
Yep.
And one of those things was I knew how to rally the troops.
There you go.
And it was because my way of management was, and the same thing with clients, I'm there with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you to do something and then me not be there with you.
Yeah.
I was out there doing floor moves with my people. I was putting tissue paper in the counters. I was bagging stuff. I was out in the gift wrap department.
Yeah.
People would say, "You did a good job gift wrapping that. I'm gonna have to tell your manager." And I would just point up to my picture. I'm like, "There she is," and they're like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "Whatever it took." And that's how I was as a real estate agent too.
Yeah.
I would go in and help them move stuff around and make them feel that I was there to hold their hand through the process. Because selling a house, buying a house, is what is it? One of the top 3 stresses behind death and divorce.
Yeah, it's the biggest purchase you'll ever make in
Yeah.
your life, usually for most people. So it's it can be stressful.
I don't know if I'm an extrovert or an introvert. I really don't think about that. And that's one of the reasons the podcast came about, because of Choices with Margie podcast, because I would be talking to somebody, because I now work at Chico's part-time. It's a women's clothing store.
Yep.
And I'd be talking to somebody and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you're like my new best friend. You need a podcast." Or they'd be talking to a friend and we'd be talking about, "You need a podcast." Or I'd be talking, or I'd get on some political stance. "You need a podcast." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I do. I need a podcast." So that's how that came about. And it was mostly because I think also, like you, if somebody does tell you their life story, you're not judging them.
Right.
You're not telling them how to live. You're not telling them, oh, they made a mistake. Or you're not telling them, shame on you.
Right.
My thing is you do you.
Yeah.
As long as you're not hurting anybody, you do you. You live your life. You do the thing that's going to make you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
If you are gay or lesbian or whatever, that's you. You own you. That's you. I love you for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So and also doing theater. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
come across all different personalities. Being a theater person, you do you.
Yeah, theater is everyone's welcome, and so, but let's go back. So when you're talking, being that rookie of the year, your first year,
Yeah.
Kind of to sum it up, you have to be genuine. You have to show up as you. That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
You do have to be social. You don't have to be an extrovert, but you do have to be able to talk to people, because it's important.
I still hear from people that were clients of mine.
Yeah.
Even to this day,
Wow.
they'll reach out on Facebook or whatever, or I see them like, "Oh my god!" And then also, I wasn't a huge social media person prior to 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I did do a lot of posts. I would, if I was going to do an open house, I would say, "Come and see me at the open house," or do a little tiny video,
Yeah.
or I would take a screenshot of the open house flyer that Howard Hanna puts out. I would share those. I would use the Howard Hanna marketing team. Also advertising as much advertising as I could do with Howard Hanna, I did, like even in the DNC, because people
Yeah.
still look at that DNC.
Absolutely. So I think that this episode's kind of targeted if you're a younger agent, how to get your start.
I wasn't younger. What the hell?
Newer, I should say newer. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. I would accept it, but I was
yes. Ageism is a real thing, people.
Oh,
so.
tell me about it. I auditioned for a show, and I was like, I was the oldest one there. A newer agent to me is just align yourself with the successful agents and mirror them, get as much information, use the marketing team, use your office manager as much as you possibly can.
You should be in that office.
I was in the office every day at 9 o'clock.
Every
it's single
tempting.
day.
You could work from home as a real estate agent,
Yeah,
right?
but
It's tempting, but
no.
you ain't gonna make it.
No, every single day I was in there at 9
That's your
o'clock.
network.
Every single day.
Yeah.
And then when I would have a new listing, I would always do the tours. I'd always have, brokers open. That's where the whole cookie thing came in, because I would make chocolate chip cookies for every broker's tour. They knew Margie was going to have big chocolate chip cookies.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a stupid, simple thing that made me stand out.
But and it shows you care. You have to go and make those. It's there's some effort to it.
Right.
For you, it's like, yeah, they made a batch of cookies. What's the big deal? To people, it's like she cares enough to go above and beyond,
right.
and maybe it's a simple gesture, but those simple gestures, that's your first impression of the person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, going above and beyond matters. Being at the office,
Mm-hmm.
showing face, and you said social media is big. But let's be honest, social media, you're dealing with cold leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Social media, in terms of business, it could make it look good. It could, yeah.
But the social media, there's ways to make it look like you are constantly doing something.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I guess for like a newer agent, and if we were talking like to the younger agents
Mm-hmm.
out there, it is tempting to make social media like your driving force, but I learned the hard way. My father's Billerino. The old school, what used to work, in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, a lot of that still works today and matters so much.
Yep.
So do not ignore the agents who are more seasoned, and don't say, well, they don't know the new school. No, a combination of the old school and the new school matters, because the old school works. Those are tried and true.
There are a couple, and again, I'm not saying older is a bad thing.
Right.
Agents that have been in the business forever,
mm-hmm.
and they were older agents, but I love talking to them. If a new listing would come up, they would know exactly what it was going to sell for. Mm-hmm. They just knew because of their experience.
Right.
So I talked to them. I would get as much information as I possibly could from them. And then if I had a listing too, I would get their opinion. Mm-hmm. I kind of knew what I was going to do, but I said, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think? And also my office manager, and then make best friends with the admins in the office.
Oh, the admins are your best friend. They're incredible.
The admins are the people that are going to help you, and they're going to expedite you getting a listing and make your life a lot easier.
Alex and Irina, we appreciate you for the Pittsford office. I don't know.
But oh my God, yeah. Alex taught me a lot, because, when you're new, I know you get your training, blah, blah, blah. You get all the training, but when you're putting a listing in, you're like, oh my God, what goes in first? And is this, you have to make sure you're in within the guidelines. And
well, it's a lot of pressure. It's people's houses. It's,
and you don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah. So, and Alex has been doing it forever. She's incredible. She knows absolutely everything there is to know.
She's a tough cookie, though. She knows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she'll keep you in line.
Yeah, she's good.
In a good way, tough cookie.
Absolutely.
In a good way.
I'm sure she knows that. So, no, yeah. So, for new agents, what's the greatest piece of advice, or what's the piece of advice that you wish you had day one?
I think it would have been learn how to shut down.
Okay.
Because I didn't,
Yeah.
But The first piece of advice that I would say is what I had said.
Mm-hmm.
Align yourself with the veterans.
Yeah.
The veterans are going to help you. They're going to let you do their open houses, and then learn how to have a balance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do it long term,
Yeah.
I had a job opportunity that fell in my lap. At the fourth year, I was in the business, and it kind of like was fashion and that I'd done prior.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of did both for a little while, and then I kind of.
And to be fair, you were pretty burnt out at that time because you said yourself you never really found that work-life balance.
I was.
So it probably was a beautiful escape at that point too.
That's a great word, because it was like to say, okay, this is my out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd never want to say, I quit.
Right.
I never quit a job in my life.
Right. Well, and you didn't quit, and you didn't. I mean, you were Rookie of the Year. You did incredible, but maybe it was just time to move on. We talked about that in the last podcast. Yeah. So, absolutely.
But
so yeah, it's not
actually,
really a.
Dominic, I actually came back because that's when I came back with Bill.
Yeah, let's
I
talk
left for
about
4 years, and then Bill, your dad, Bill Reno, said, "Why don't you come and be on my team and work in one of the models?" So yeah, I was with him for like a year and a half doing that.
So
2 years.
What is your stance on working for a team? Because obviously, like, I'm on the Bill Reno team. I work for a team, and it gives me a ton of leads. It gives me some leeway where I'm not, I have more resources that way.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's the other side of it, the very real side that there's going to be another split, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk real, So what's your stance on that?
If I had the opportunity to be on a team when I first joined,
Mm-hmm.
I would have done it.
Yeah.
I would have done it. It just is an opportunity, even if it's not going to be forever.
Mm-hmm.
There are some really good teams out there that when you're a rookie, they're going to put you under their wing, and as long as they don't suck the life out of you, because there are a couple of teams that will suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
Get your buying agent experience, get your open house experience, get your admin experience too, because they're there to help you put a listing in.
Mm-hmm.
They're here to help you put an offer in. They're here to help you figure out a sign, all that stuff that is very intimidating when you first start.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a team that's going to take you under the wing, I'd say go for it.
Okay. And that's coming from someone who was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But I guess you saw that, like, there were probably obstacles and barriers in your way or difficulties that maybe could have been lessened if you had that support, or what?
And I think I had one of those personalities that people are like, man, she's got a strong personality. Do we really want her on this team? Where I am a team player. I love teams. I love sports. I love teams, I think. But I'm a leader.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not a good thing to be on that team.
Well, I think, too, like, for example, we talked about in Choices. If you haven't seen the episode of Choices with Margie, it's probably because it hasn't aired, because this will probably drop first. But we did an episode of Choices with Margie where we talked, and we were talking personal and my journey and stuff. And in that, I kind of talked about how I needed my own identity before I joined the Bill Reno team. I didn't want to just be Bill's son. I'm Dominic Reno. I have amazing things that Bill has passed down to me. He's given me amazing advice. But at the end of the day, there's things that I bring to the table that Bill doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
and there's things that Bill brings that I don't, and we are different personalities
Mm-hmm.
too. And I value that. And I showed up to the team with some of those leadership qualities while still being a team player. So I don't think just joining a team means you're,
well, if you
a cog in the machine,
if you can join a team and still hold on to your own identity,
Mm-hmm.
where, again, those are the things that you have to discuss when you join a team. Am I going to have to be able to have my own listings? Am I going to be able to have my own face on those listings?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it always going to be your face? Am I going to be able to build my own client base?
Yeah.
So those are all things you got to figure out. But
and is it genuine? Are you looking for someone who just do, the hard work without ever, wanting to see them fly from the nest and do good on their own? Are you just looking to suppress people, or are you looking to genuinely give them
Lift them up.
the foundation, the
Yeah.
knowledge base? And
No,
I
and
think there's
I'm all
varying different
about
teams.
and even when I again going back to my management days, I'm all about lifting people up and getting them to the level that they want to get to. And that's what you have to find out if you want to join a team. If you think that I want to do my own thing, I want to have my own listings, I'm going to build my own social media, I'm going to build my own core of clients that I'm going to be able to expand my clients through that core because I have such great relationships. Those are decisions you got to make,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think to sum that up, there's no right and wrong way to join, be in the real estate business. Um, with the asterisk next to it that, like, there's a lot of people who start who don't make it through the year, in real estate, because it is a difficult industry to get into.
And also, Dominic, when you're a new agent coming right out of the course and passing the course, go and interview different offices.
Yeah.
Go interview, the Howard Hanna Pittsford office or Hunt Real Estate, or go talk to Remax, or you got to find out where you're going to fit in and what are the benefits for each of those.
Yeah, because even a brand new agent, there's things that you bring to the table. You have worth in that space, and if they don't recognize it, run. And if they don't value it, run. But see, if you are the perfect fit for them, and if they're the perfect fit for you. And don't walk in there like, I need a job.
Right. Believe it or not, in each Howard Hanna office is a different personality.
Yeah.
Each manager, I mean, yes, they're running it under a specific umbrella, but each manager has a different, and also the energy and the mix of the energies of the agents that are in that office. And you'll know when you go in and meet people, if I'm going to fit in here or if that's not a fit for you. So those are all the things that, you've got to figure out if that's the right space for you, that you're going to be able to grow your business, or if there is a team that you want to target and see if you can get on that team. There's so many decisions in real estate, and it's a really funky, tough market right now. So you got to decide if this is really something that I want to do, because I think people look at real estate and they go, "Oh, I can do that." There's so much to it.
There's so much to it, yeah. That's an understatement, right?
There's so much to it. That isn't just walking in and showing a house. And, there's so much technical knowledge that you have to have, administrative knowledge that you have to have, and then just the interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
If you don't have those interpersonal skills, go work somewhere else.
Yep. And if you can't be organized enough to keep the admin side of it going,
that's huge.
Yeah, it's a juggling act. It really is. So for people who are sitting there right now thinking about signing up for the course, to take the test to become a real estate agent, I say go for it, because if you have the passion to think about that, you're probably interested. Just know it's not HGTV, right?
It's not. And people do look at that, like, oh, I'm going to flip this over that.
Yeah.
Like if they want to be someone who flips homes too, that's a whole nother industry.
Yeah, that's difficult.
It's not like you think it is.
I mean, go for it. Just do your research,
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think if you have that, like, an entrepreneurial spirit, and you think that you can work independently, then go for it. It's not cheap. It does cost money, so you got to figure out where you are in your career journey, if that's going to be something that you're going to be able to do.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, I think it's fun too. There's many. I mean, we've talked about, it can be difficult, it can be all these other things, but at the end of the day, it is very fun sometimes. I mean, there are aspects of it that are HGTV sometimes. Yeah. There's aspects of it where you're seeing really cool houses, and you're meeting really nice people, and when people get the house of their dreams, there is such a empathetic reaction to that. And and excitement. So it's not all gloom, doom, sitting in front of the computer, but it's both. So
No, and
just
I've had some great experiences where families have found their home, and you can just see the kids running and picking out their bedrooms, and this is my bedroom,
mm-hmm.
mom, this is my bedroom.
Yep.
Those are the days where you're like, oh, this is really a joy.
Yeah.
And or when somebody downsizes, and if they know, they realize it's time to move from the 3,000 square foot home, and they go to a patio home,
Mm-hmm.
and you help them through those decisions.
Well, and you're giving people their independence back. There's people who have a second floor, a colonial, and they can't get to the second floor anymore.
Yeah.
If you're all on one level, you're independent of that support, and that's big for people.
Hence the rush for ranches.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like ranches are really a good buy right now, because a lot of the population is looking to downsize, and they want one level living, and hence also the new builds that are now patio homes. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah, I think this is a great place to call it. I think your journey hopefully inspires others. You were rookie of the year. They can do that with the hard work. Or if a team's right for them, call me today. We'd love to have you. No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding. But no, in reality, my dad, he's willing to take anyone under his wing and support them. So
I think the biggest message is, when you're new, don't be afraid to partner with people and ask a billion questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to the veterans, and don't be afraid to ask for help,
hmm
because other agents, the true good, successful agents, are willing to help you, and they'll get you where you need to go.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Margie Di Paolo. She has her own podcast on our channel as well, Choices with Margie. It's going to be dropping, I believe, every Thursday at 10 a.m. or every other
Every
Thursday
other
at 10
Thursday.
a.m. will be the other Thursdays. So Thursdays at 10 a.m. Mark your calendar. This has been New Level Living. We're going to be here every other week, talking real estate, talking everything that surrounds real estate. It's such a big bubble. There's so much involved in it. So thank you for joining today, and catch us next time.